Oh, it's recording!
Wait, did we just step away without?
Hi everyone! Here from DLD.studio, I'm Sophie and this is
Donaldo.
So before we begin, we'll like to remind everyone it will be amazing if you guys can support us by subscribing or
Turning on that bell notification.
There we go.
I heard through the grapevines that you could subscribe but still not get notified if you don't click that bell button somewhere.
Oh, sorry. So we'll do the bell, and it would be amazing if you guys can subscribe and join our community. We'll link everything down here on how to get connected with us. Today we want to spice it up and give some of DLD's logo expertise knowledge on just K-pop logos in general.
Full disclosure, BTS and Blackpink, like, I feel like we know the ins and outs of them pretty well at this point. But the other 6 K-pop bands that I picked them because they're definitely the other K-pop groups that I've watched a couple of videos of and I thought they were great. I wanted to look at 4 boy groups, guy groups, and 4 female lady groups, and also analyze what we think about their logos. And I also wanted to pick the ones that I'm a little bit familiar with, just so that we can see if the logos do represent the brand image or like aesthetics of each group, and if they're doing a good job like capturing that kind of persona. So I think what makes a good logo, it should literally be like what your brand is about. Starting from the logo mark, the design, the logo type, like everything needs to make sense and be on brand with the entire feel of the company or the person. A good logo is very timeless but also versatile. For instance, let's think about like the Louboutin logo. They're very old and classic, but they are versatile in the sense where, like, for instance, Louis Vuitton, they have the monograms that they create, and then they also have the LV separately, and then sometimes you see the LV in like a more modernized version. I've been seeing it a lot in the more newer Louis Vuitton designs, and be able to be used for a lot of different things. So you might be able to create like cool patterns out of it, or like a more subtle some kind of imagery, but it has to feel timeless where you're not gonna get sick of it after like 3 months. The Nike logo too, right? You know, there was a time where they were spelling it out Nike like in this like script form, and then they tried out doing the check mark, and then they tried, I think, inversing the check mark for a little bit too. And yeah, so it's gonna keep changing throughout the years, throughout the various like generations, but what's important is that it was timeless enough where they still kept the check mark, and it's still like, now it's like everyone sees the check mark and they're like, oh, that's Nike. Yeah.
Essentially, if you do take a look at Chanel, if you do take a look at Louis Vuitton, like
Gucci,
you can at least see that it had an origin. Like, it doesn't veer so far off. It's
Right.
like slight tweaks, but the base is still there and the base was still good.
All right, so let's get started. And the first and foremost, we have my faves, BTS.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job rebranding their logo, because back in the day, they had a very different logo. I think their name is 방탄소년단, so it means like bulletproof. So their old logo had like a bulletproof looking vest going on, and I mean, it was cool, but I think what they have now is definitely cooler. Like, I don't even need to see those letters BTS. I can literally see that little like door gate thing, and like even without the letters BTS, I'll be like, oh, that's BTS's logo.
The reason why certain logos are so good is because like it thinks beyond the initial literal definition of what you would imagine. So like that bulletproof concept, there was a bulletproof vest.
Right, that's
it's
kind
very
of literal. Yeah, there we go. But to be honest, it wasn't a very versatile logo, right? Like, it's not like, if you were to like shrink it down, let's say, and use it as a tiny little like favicon, like you can't even use it as that because it won't be legible when you shrink it down that much. Maybe I feel like I get it because
now you know the reason.
Now I know, and I'm also into them, but like it literally feels like I'm entering like a world, like a gate.
Right.
I'm trapped and I can't get out. Also, weirdly, I feel like I can imagine the letters BTS fitting into the new logo. But if you can think of the B going here, and then I see a T, and then the S is fitting like right here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I'm not entirely sure if that was intentional or not, but either way, like, I definitely see it. So I thought that was very unique, and I really love that the ARMY logo is inverse of the BTS logo, so it almost feels like a a wall.
Or like you're opening the gate.
Yeah.
The wall could also symbolize like you stand by the group.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what
like
I meant by
literally
the
an
wall.
army.
Yeah, it's literally like an army that's standing and standing behind the group. And it's also like, oh, it like opened and now you're on the other side of the wall. So
Yes.
the gate looks the opposite, if that makes sense, the way it's like opening. Yeah.
Yes. The second group that we'll like to discuss about is EXO. I do see the E, X, and O. And I think that was a clever way to divide up a one form.
Yes.
And
I
using
agree.
little pieces of lines in order to display like letters.
Right.
I think that was a clever solution, but personally I would want more of like divisions to be played around like the thickness of it, or even the line going into the E. It's like curled.
Yeah, I wonder if it would have been cooler if it actually stopped right in the middle of the diamond, just so it doesn't seem like the E is just like extending to like a random spot in the middle of the letters. It's easy to understand. Like I think when you see it, you'll go, oh, okay, that's very recognizable. Sometimes having a simpler logo that just
Like an emblem?
like an emblem is the way to go, especially when your group's gonna blow up to like a global scale. But I do feel like they did do that with
If
it.
I were to have seen that logo on merch and whatnot, I think I would have recognized it.
Yeah.
For some reason, I can see like a lot of that, like almost kind of like a donbangshingi
Yeah.
feel to it, where there's like a lot of like neon lights or like those kind of like lights going on.
Sharp objects do evoke that feeling of edginess. Like I do feel like they purposely avoided using curved edges for the most part, even though they could have rounded all the edges. I think that's not the image they were going for. They wanted to go for something that feels chic and
A little sharp,
a little sharp, a little out
a
there,
little attitude,
a little attitude.
a little
Yeah.
oomph
Mm-hmm.
to the boys.
Yes.
So Stray Kids has that graffiti mark to it. As a pattern or in like one piece, it looks balanced and aesthetic. But to me, Stray, the part is not very legible, whereas it's my first time. I almost want to like look really fast at it like star.
It's also because the K does look like a star a little bit. I almost wish that there was a little bit more space between the Y and the K.
So that there's a little breathing room. And
Yeah.
you can read the
S and
words
the K,
separately.
yeah.
Stray Kids. Purely by speculation on just this visual, what I associate graffiti would be a lot of kind of like underground rap or some kind of freestyle, a little bit something punky.
So I think they have a rebel thing going on. They're younger. Their music is very hard actually. Very like
Head bop.
upbeat like EDM. I personally like that they went for something very unique with the whole graffiti feel. I do wonder though what their emblem looks like, or if they even have one.
Okay.
If they do, comment and let us know
Yeah.
again. I think it'll be really cool to see like kind of similar to the EXO or the BTS emblems, if they had like something, maybe just the S or the K or just like some kind of geometric shape that can be function as like a very small representation of them as a little mini logo or like an emblem.
I think I like the concept though. Like if that just stayed completely as the logo itself,
Yeah.
I think it does stand out from all the other groups that there's like a whole trend going on with a certain type of typography and looking clean and edgy and like all these groups just look like they have similar concepts, some of them.
This one really stands out.
Yeah,
in that sense.
it's different and I think I like that. So I hope to see this as more than just the first concept.
Yeah.
And it's like their thing.
The next one we have here is Monsta X.
It feels like a pattern out of some parts of the BTS logo.
Oh!
Like overall, the whole shape looks like an M to me, and then there's an X in the center.
Yes.
So I think that was a clever solution.
Right.
And to me, it evokes just that little bit of masculinity, that little sharp feeling, kind of bad boys kind of feel.
Yeah, they're definitely the manlier vibe. And yeah, I think their music is like, it's not boyish, I will say that. I almost wish that the M was a little bit more visible, personally. I wonder what it would have looked like if the logo wasn't super vertical and tall, but also a little bit wider. Like a more statement. Yeah, because I think if you maybe didn't know that they were called Monsta X and just looked at the logo emblem, you'll notice the X first. But I think what they did do right is definitely using the very hard edges. I like that they used pretty thick looking shapes. I like that they used very uniform lines, so everything is the same thickness. Doesn't it almost remind you of like chains?
Oh.
Like the X in the middle. I feel like they could like repeat it and it'll start looking like chains. Yeah.
They can maybe make a pattern out of it.
Yeah. All right, so the next is our lovely, lovely ladies of Blackpink.
Blackpink.
In your area. So yeah, what are your thoughts on their logo? I'm sure you've seen it before.
So I am more familiar with Blackpink's logo.
Yeah.
The C and the N being flipped. I thought that was like a little bit of a cute little like
touch to it.
It did it where if the typography is going to be pink like that, and they do play it up, but in this scenario, Blackpink, the color is black and pink. But if they were to do all of it in pink, then I think that backwards C and N demonstrate what black is supposed to evoke.
Right.
Which is that edgier chicness.
Yeah. And kind of like not conforming.
Yeah.
Wanting to be a little rebel.
It's like I'm cute, but I'm not all good girl.
Yeah.
Kind of like a little bit. Like a little bit of a cheekiness to it and a sass.
I agree. I also think it's pretty cool of them to use a pretty bold and manlier feeling sans serif typography, because I might be wrong, but I feel like I've seen a lot of like girl group logos that are a little bit more cursive or like a little bit on the cuter end, or even using lots of serif fonts that evoke a more like Vogue or like fashion-y, editorial, feminine, luxurious kind of feel. I feel like Blackpink did go for something a little bit cooler. I do wonder what it would have looked like if they flipped the A to a V.
So that's a trend for some types of like hypebeast kind of brands where there's an A or whatnot, they would flip it upside down
to a V.
To a V. But I actually appreciate it as is, because I feel like then I would have read it as Blackpink.
Oh, like as a U.
As a U.
What do you think it would have looked like if they didn't have the A at all? BLCKPINK.
I think that could have worked.
Yeah, and then maybe place the pink under the letters, so it's like 4 letters and 4 letters.
Right.
That could have been another cool idea. But yeah, I think overall we can agree that their logo is pretty solid. I don't think there's anything like wrong with it, and yeah, good job, Blackpink. So let's look at the Twice logo. Ooh.
Okay, so
you're kind of familiar with Twice.
I am familiar with Twice. What I see immediately is a T and a W, but if I were to then try to see the I, the C, and the E, by all the swirls and...
Technically, it's all in there,
It's all in there.
Yeah, they definitely were trying to accentuate the T and the W just because it is the first 2 letters of their group name. I think all the logos we saw so far, they weren't really playing too much with the thickness or like the curves of the letters, but Twice definitely, I think, went for the cutesier and also like cheerful feel.
You know what or that emblem reminds me of is that trendy typography of like Varsity, the baseball.
Yeah, I think that's Varsity.
Yeah, Varsity.
About like baseball font.
But this logo reminds me of like, that's the kind of outfit that they'll be wearing. It's kind of like a cutesy, colorful, coordinated.
Do you think they got inspired by cheerleaders?
Could.
Yeah, because I feel like Twice does have that feel of like I think the reason why they're also really popular is because I feel like they're kind of like the new girls generation, where they are kind of like the nation's like sweetheart. And like people feel kind of like happy and energized when they watch their music videos and listen to their songs. And I feel like the girls are also very like pretty and like cute and like bouncy.
Like, is that a cutesy?
Like happy, you know?
And that's what this logo also evokes.
Yeah,
it's very different than Blackpink.
It's very
pink.
It is very pink. Yeah. Even though technically the logo we're looking at is in black and white, the fact that it evokes that feeling means they did a good job with the actual logo form and the emblem to showcase that kind of cute, fun vibe.
And I think, all those curves are what does it for me.
Yes.
Also, I can't unsee this now, but doesn't the logo also look like a cartoon version of like a hand going like this?
Whoa!
Like,
oh, I see it. Yeah. How does this logo make you feel? If it makes you feel.
I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yeah.
It doesn't do it for me. Itzy, I believe, also had like a very colorful concept of those kinds of airy kind of girls.
Yeah.
Fun. And this to me reminds me a little bit more like of a different kind of company that's not an idol group. I can imagine this being like a different corporate company. Like,
I also wonder what the purpose of only having the eye be in pink. Maybe there's more to the context that I'm not understanding, but I feel like they're edgier than the logo. I would want to see something in all caps, kind of like Blackpink, where it's supposed to evoke like a little bit of a bolder feel. But I think because the letters are all in lowercase and also very thin, it doesn't have that like oomph that I would almost expect from a group like Itzy.
How Itzy is written makes it look itsy bitsy, like Itzy. But I guess it's not showing and evoking how Itzy's personality and actually how the girls are. Yeah. It doesn't capture their complete charisma.
Exactly. Well, moving into our very last one, called IZ*ONE. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I don't know why, but this gives me major throwback feels. It reminds me of something like a little bit more like Britney Spears kind of time.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
Like, so for my thoughts on what this evokes is very cheerful. Like if I were to have imagined what kind of girls these are, it reminds me of the girls of Crayola Pop or something.
I don't know.
Like there was this one song that were like jumping, and then we'll put in a picture of who
I gotta look that up.
Yeah, it has like a very like cutesy spirit to them.
One thing that I did think when I saw this was, doesn't it look like IZ*ONE? I do understand that a lot of K-pop groups do this where they spell it a certain way but it's not pronounced that way. So one thing that I do think they did a good job with is, you know how like skinny and long the letters are? I feel like it is well representative of the girls because they're all so like leggy and like long and
model-esque.
They're very elegant. They're really pretty. Like everyone is like a visual, like very pretty. Wonder if it has to do with the Japanese side of their influence because it's a Korea-Japan collab group.
Okay.
So if you think about it from that perspective, I feel like I've seen a lot of like Japanese magazines and stuff that use those kinds of very unique fonts.
I can then understand maybe the N and the E, the way how it's like curved a little bit more.
It's definitely not your everyday K-pop logo that you would see. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I do like the O actually, even though it's very like unique and you might go, oh, that's very like literal, like it kind of looks like a ring, right?
Yeah.
But I can see the O just like being used as its own to kind of symbolize the group.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me for the first speculation.
I agree.
But maybe I'll change my mind once I get to know a little bit more details of
the group,
the intention of maybe the designer's intention of what the typography and the symbols were supposed to be.
Yeah, for sure. This is really interesting. All right, so that was it for the logo reactions,
speculation,
first impressions, critiques.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite or your most memorable?
Most memorable? It would have been between Twice and Blackpink. And for me, since I like that bit of like of an edge and personality, I personally would say Blackpink. And then for male, I'm a little split. Like, I really appreciate how different Straykids are.
I agree. Like, weirdly, it did leave an impression, I have to say.
Right. I like the look, but maybe slight variation of it.
Yeah.
Where it's a little bit more legible for whoever's reading it. I'm stuck between Straykids and BTS.
Personally, style-wise, I definitely gravitate the most towards also BTS and Blackpink's logos, just because I think that's just what we like visually.
Yeah, I honestly, if we had to be completely honest with you guys, like I think that's why we're drawn to them.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's some kind of an aesthetic that they establish for themselves. But I agree with Sophie that, you know, if Straykids was kind of the unique like standout logo for you, I think that's how I kind of feel about the IZ*ONE logo, weirdly, where it is very different.
Yeah, and there's something to appreciate
not
about that.
To say like it's my favorite, but it was memorable. Kind of like, oh, it's a little different from most girl group logos that we've seen. Yeah. So, good job.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, hope you guys enjoyed just our speculations and first impression on these logos. We see so many different logos all the time.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to take a moment to speculate on Dawn's favorite groups and the groups that she's familiar with and start a conversation.
For the parts that we were speculating and you guys have the answers to, do let us know if there's like any important logo animations or something like that that we completely missed. Do also link it so we can take a look.
Yeah.
We love appreciating like other logo forms and just anything design related, pretty much.
Additionally, why is this important to us? Because I feel like there's a whole wave of like love for K-pop right now that's going on, and people appreciate the very like things that are in your face, which is the concepts, like the outfits and their songs mixed with all these crazy things. And honestly, like I think like what's to appreciate also is the behind the scenes and like the more subtle things that you might not be like, oh, like this is what makes it, but it's the little there but not noticeable details that I feel like really like lift up the group. We just want to take a moment to highlight all of that good work. Logo and branding a group, like that's the foundation of it. That emblem, that symbol or typography, how it's written out for every single packaging, every single album, everywhere. It should visually in a weird way like encapsulate what they're gonna be and what they stand for. And so yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, thanks so much. Remember to hit that bell button so you get notified whenever we get a new video out. And subscribe, please subscribe. Because that's how you know you like this stuff. Like, or else we're just two little chickens just recording things and no one's just really caring. So if you care, subscribe. And let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. Like always, thank you so much. Bye.